Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. This is the first podcast for counsellors that just don't align with the traditional approaches to business and that want to use their spiritual gifts, talents, and interests to create, you guessed it, a private practice with soul. So, look, leave it to me to provide you with everything you need, including strategies that you can use to increase your income, reduce your workload, and of course, increase inquiries and referrals to your beautiful soul-led private practice. I love it so much. If you haven't done it already, grab your journal, grab your pen, and let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. I am so thankful that you're here, and I'm grateful to you for listening to my podcast. I love recording it for you. I can't believe we've done over 300 of these together now. What a relationship, right? So I got something really exciting to share with you, and you may have already seen it. The podcast cover has changed, because, drum roll, there's been a rebrand. And let me just give you a bit of the background to the rebrand. So, you know how I talk with you about businesses evolving, right? So my business has been evolving too. And one of the things is that in my business, my brand has traditionally been the crescent moon, just a very simple crescent moon, right? Nothing fancy, no flowers and diamonds and sparklies hanging off it, just a basic crescent moon. And my dominant brand color has been sort of this corally, peachy type color. Now, I've had this branding for a few years, and I've totally loved it. But one of the things that I do is I give away, as you know, a lot of stuff, and I give it away in my branding and as templates and stuff like that. And there's just been like, I've subscribed to some people's lists because I've really wanted to grab their download, and then I've actually received back my template and it's been in my colors. So it's not a problem. I know people are just using the templates and just forgetting or whatever, not putting their own colors on it. And that's totally fine. But I just wanted to start fresh. And so it's been a rebrand. And I just feel like the brand is growing up because on the 1st of September this year, it's actually been 2 years since I've had a Medicare-free practice and since I've released the title of psychologist. So it's been 2 years of six-figure income without Medicare. And you know what? I'm not with ACA or PACFA, and my clients don't get health rebates as a result of that, most of them, et cetera, et cetera. So I want you to see, I'm leading by example here. You can create a brand new practice and get it to six figures within your first 12 months. None of the referral pathways that I was using in psychology are being used in my counseling practice. That it was they're totally two separate businesses. There's no crossover. I'm not getting doctors refer to me. As I said, no one's getting rebates, nothing. And I want to share with you just how exciting it is to be able to say to you it's possible, show you that it's possible, and give you so much help along the way so that you can do it too. Because I see your potential, and I think so many times counselors sometimes get in their heads about, you need to have rebates in order to build a successful practice, a financial successful practice I'm talking about at the moment, whatever that looks like to you, whether you want to generate, $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month, or do you know what I mean? You absolutely can do it. There are no limits other than the ones that you put on yourself. And what's going to drive you is your beliefs, okay? So if you're trying to create a practice and people are telling you, well, you'll never get it to this financial level where you want it to be because you're not on Medicare, I'm here to show you, hey, you absolutely can without Medicare and even without health rebates. So yeah, I'm so excited, and I just wanted to mark this recent expansion and recent growth with a rebrand. Now, the other thing, in case you missed it, was personally, I had a huge shift, and I can remember the day exactly. It was Sunday night, the 7th of August. So what's that? About 5 weeks ago now. And for those of you who missed it, just super quickly, I've been a long-term, I've struggled with anxiety for a long time, right? It all got worse a few years ago, and it's been acute for the last few years, despite, getting Reiki and having counseling and, doing all of the things. It's still been there. It's still been acute, and it's still been impacting on how I show up at work, how I show up at home, how I see myself, all of that sort of stuff. That was until the night of the 7th of August. And it was so bizarre because I can remember it like it was just 5 minutes ago. I was in bed. I was so tired. It was that time of night before you go to sleep, you've done your meditation or whatever, and you've read your book or whatever, and you go and you turn off your little lamp there, and you're closing your eyes and you're getting ready for sleep. It's just that twilighty stage. You're not quite asleep, but you're not awake either. That's when it happened. I got this, I don't know, it was just like this thought in my head said, hey, you need to start journaling about this. And I didn't have a journal or a pen, and I was completely inconvenienced by it. But it was a compulsion. Like, I felt compelled. I had to. There's no way I could have laid there and not picked up my phone and started journaling. So I picked up my phone, I opened up the notes section, and I just started writing. And it was so strange because I was typing out all of these questions to myself, and then I was typing responses to them. The whole process happened so quickly. It took maybe minutes. And by the end of it, there had been this huge shift, this huge aha moment, this huge, change. And anyway, I was so surprised. And I remembered after it was over, it felt like a whirlwind, right, in the moment. It probably took, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. And I had this massive realization, etc. And then I have not been the same since. And I was talking to a friend about it recently. I've spoken to you about it recently. I've spoken in my groups about it recently. It just feels like there's an absence of anxiety now, and I'm finally figuring out who I am. And I didn't realize that I had actually been, like, beyond the acute anxiety that I've been dealing with over the last 2 or 3 years. I've also been having anxiety in my life and impacting me since I was really, 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 really young, since I was a little girl, and I just had no awareness of that. And so now all of that's shifted. It's like I'm getting to see what life is like without anxiety. It's like the absence of the anxiety. So I'm not like suddenly more happy or energetic. It wasn't like that. It was just like, okay, this is who I am. Oh, hang on, who am I now? Because I don't feel afraid anymore. I don't feel scared anymore. I'm not worrying anymore. I'm not in my head all the time anymore. And it was so interesting because around that time, as you may remember, that there was the Lion's Gate. Now, I didn't know anything about Lion's Gate, but I honestly believe that for some reason, I was just in the right place at the right time energetically to receive whatever was being, transmitted isn't the right word, but I was in so Lion's Gate is when, we've got the Leo zodiac, in the sky, and it's a period that happens every single year for about 10 days where our planet lines up with the brightest star in the night sky, which is Sirius. And Sirius is kind of a bluey color. If you want to go out there and look at it, you can look at it, most nights you'll be able to see it. But anyway, everything's all aligned, and it's called the Lion's Gate portal, this corridor of energy, if you like, that touches all of us for this short period of time, this like approximate 10 days. It's different every year, but it's roughly about 10 days. And I think that's all I can think of. I really feel like I must have been an energetic match to receive. So yeah, apparently like you're meant to get it's a corridor, or it's a portal of frequencies and vibrations and light codes and all of this sort of stuff that are healing, that teach you things, all of that sort of stuff. So I think it was just serendipity, right? It wasn't anything I planned on experiencing. It just happened. But it's changed my practice. It's changed my approach to business. It's changed so much for the better. And so once all that happened, I'm still talking about my rebrand, don't worry. Once all that happened, I started researching more and more and more about energy and frequencies and stuff like that. And I got really interested in light codes. And I started to understand them better. So I started to understand that a light code, that energetically, there's frequencies and vibrations and things like that, but there's information carried on all of those. Kind of like I said last time, there's information coded into them. Like when you listen to the radio, you have to tune it to your station, and then there's coded information that comes through to you on those frequencies of the Wi-Fi, on the waves of the Wi-Fi, and you receive it, right? That's how everything works in the universe. And so I thought, yeah, I really resonate with this at the moment. And so I wanted to change my logo, and I had the idea after doing all this research on light codes that I wanted a light code activation for my logo. So I got it, and it arrived just a few days ago, and it was so beautiful because I set the intention to call in a logo that was going to activate, because energy's moving all the time. So I wanted it to activate things for you and me that were in both of our highest good. And I set the intention that this logo would support you and I in better being able to balance our masculine and feminine energies. It would support us in being comfortable with success. It would support us in releasing imposter syndrome. It would support us in achieving our dreams, all those sorts of beautiful, beautiful things. So I want to read to you what came through with my light code logo so that you can hear it, because it is just so beautiful. Now, I was going to paraphrase it, but I'm not. I'm just going to read you exactly what I received, okay, from the lady who put my light code activation together for me. So this is what she said. She said, "This light code anchors your divine state of presence, your highest essence of soul, and provides the connection to anchor this as fully desired here into our dimensional world. It anchors the space for your expansion and connection to your soul's most abundant path, bringing a sense of grounded stability for your dreams and desires to formulate in your life and business. It anchors a circle of loving support and guidance from your highest overall soul, oversoul, angelic and celestial guides, from whom continuously show you the way towards greater embodying your services of love, light and healing. It's a synergy of all your soul gifts, past, present and future, allowing you to cultivate and to tap into certain talents at any moment to further assist and be of service to others. This light code will assist you in your spiritual business as a private practice coach and counselor to guide, aid, and help those who are in need to find answers or a sense of wholeness once more. It supports your gifts of intuition and divine wisdom, acting as a channel of divine consciousness to empower and uplift others who are yet to find this connection for themselves. It will support you in the path of being a leader and guide for others who are inspired by your journey, and bring freedom to pave a new way of supporting humanity as a whole. This light code anchors the integration and union of our masculine and feminine energies so that we may dance in the balance of both polarities and utilize them to our strength. When we are in union with both our feminine and masculine, our energy is harmonized and we may act at our most powerful potential and frequency. It anchors the frequencies of the Divine Mother to embody unconditional love, compassion, and presence for all soul siblings, anchoring the Divine Father to utilize our action, power, abundance, and manifestation potential. There is an aura of calm and centeredness that flows out to all whom enter the light code's presence. Your service has no limitations, your love no limits, your light no boundaries. This light code will continually assist to release all that no longer serves you, creating and holding a safe container of space for your past, present, and future selves so that you may live in your most lightest and divine state of being. Your light family has been anchored and are present to continually support you on your path, especially preventing any depletion you may encounter through the exchange of energies with others. Your vessel of light is constantly filling and full. You are continuously guided and already know the path's course as it unfolds. Faith and trust in your guidance brings greater strength in your journey in this lifetime. Now, that is just, to me, that is just so beautiful. And that's what, when you see this light code, which is now my logo for my business, this is what becomes accessible to you. It's going to activate, just like sound has an energy, pictures have an energy, and this is the energy. This logo creates a frequency for you. So when you look at my new logo, you're going to be able to see the masculine and the feminine. You're going to see the polarity, but you'll also see the balance. You'll see gentle power, soft power. You'll see that in the logo. You'll see, the balance of light with shadow. You will see space, and you will see, occupation of that space. You will see growth. You will see, to me, it looks like there's a flower at the top. And to me, that represents, bursting through things, a connection with above, and there's a flower on the bottom, which to me represents, that father energy of anchoring below. Mother below, father in the sky, I meant to say. So father flower is connecting up, and the mother is connecting down with the ground through Mother Gaia. And I see nature in this, and I see stars in this, and this logo just fills me with so much love and abundance and protection. And it is a gift to you as well. It's a gift to everybody that sees it, that comes into contact with it. It's just mine. Every light code is unique. It's like a fingerprint, like a thumbprint. And I set the intention of creating this so that it would bring beautiful things into your private practice, but not only into the physical manifestation of your private practice, but also into the things that sit behind it, like the person you are, the beliefs you have, the love you have, all of that sort of stuff. So I am smiling ear to ear as I share this with you. I think it's just so beautiful. And thank you for letting me share that with you. So today, I love to talk about emerging trends. And when I say emerging trends, I mean things I'm seeing when I'm working with my clients. So I have clients in my groups. I have clients that I see one-to-one. Coaching clients, supervision clients, mentoring clients, all of that. So there has been, over the last couple of weeks, an emerging trend, and it's this idea of archetypes, and one in particular. So if you know me, I love depth psychology and soul psychology. They're they're created by Jung, right? I was going to say they're very Jungian. They're created by Jung. So let me just begin by diving into the Mother Archetype. So remember that an archetype is a symbol. Now, it can be a physical symbol, but it can also be a fantastical symbol, like a symbol of association. It can be a symbol that has a word attached to it, all those sorts of things. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a picture. But the thing about archetypes is that they're commonly recognized across cultures and around the world to have the same or very, very similar meanings, okay? And it was Jung that identified this concept of archetypes. So the mother archetype, let me just, ask you what comes to mind when you think of the mother archetype. So the mother archetype to me is something that's, it's got light and shadow. And the light part I would look at as being sacred or divine. I believe that the mother archetype is all about that feminine energy of nurturing, cultivating relationships, beauty, radiance, passion, all those sorts of beautiful things. I think that the mother archetype represents that part of us that's a natural caretaker. And this, I feel, is possibly the most dominant archetype in our profession, if not all healing professions, whether you identify as male or female or, however you choose to identify, has no bearing on type of archetype that you identify with, right? So even, what did I want to say? So even, whether you show up and you think that you're in one kind of energy or you're in a different kind of energy, you're always governed by how you're turning up in terms of an archetype at your practice. So one of the other things that comes through with this mother archetype is a desire to, provide for people, which is very similar to the masculine energy in a way, isn't it? But it's providing differently. So it's providing love, sustenance. And when we're talking about sustenance and nourishment, it's not only speaking to the physical, but also speaking to nourishment and sustenance of spirit, of emotion, right? Of mental energies. And it's such a beautiful space for us to be in. And I can absolutely see it in our work as counselors, wanting to provide that very nurturing space for our clients when we're in session with them, feeling protective, like how a mother is quite protective, and feeling very, 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 very helpful, and an instinct, a desire to be helpful, to help, to care for people, and very able to see things beyond logic. This is one of the special gifts of the mother archetype. It's been able to move beyond the linear. It's been able to move beyond a treatment manual, a step-by-step approach, a model that requires that in your practice, a therapeutic modality that requires that sort of structure. And it allows you to experience wisdom, calling upon your intuition, even when you've been using an approach to therapy that's been very step by step and you're not getting the outcome that you want, but you feel a niggle, or you have an idea pops into your head that maybe, you want to take this direction or that direction in the session with the client, and you do it and you get the outcome. It's having that mother archetype has a very strong connection to wisdom, and we would also call this practice wisdom, okay? So this is what it looks like when it's sacred and divine. And in private practice, that type of energy is really about empowering others. Yeah, it's not telling your client what you think they should do. Rather, it's supporting your client to come up with answers for themselves. If part of your business is providing supervision, it's not telling your supervisees what to do, but rather it's empowering them through open-ended questions, through curiosity, to find their own answers. And it's by doing that you support them in building their own confidence and tapping into their own wisdom. Okay. You also see it in private practice, this concept of nurturing. not only do we nurture our clients, like I can share with you when I had my brick and mortar practice before COVID, I had all sorts of things. There were candles, there was tea, there were tea selections, there were essential oils, there were blends, there was incense, there were, blankets that people could put over their knees for comfort, everything I did, even looking after the team, making sure that there was fresh flowers, making sure that there was fresh supplies in their desks, making sure there was always tea, coffee, nibblies, stuff like that. It's just going the extra mile to really create that container of nurturing. And some of you might be able to relate to that because I know you do it too. It may even look like when you have a team meeting, you lay out a spread, you get a really beautiful table and you get it catered, or you bring in special sandwiches, or you make and bake and things like that. You want to foster this sense of nurturing so that they all feel so loved and warm and welcome, and they love being in that space. That's a very mothering, beautiful, beautiful energy, okay? The shadow side, okay, because we're going to do light and shadow. So the shadow side can be when the mother archetype hiding because of fear of rejection, fear of not being loved, fear of not being liked, fear of conflict, fear of disagreement, some kind of symptoms of imposter syndrome perhaps. Other things that can happen with the shadow archetype of the mother is giving away too much. So maybe you're overdoing it in the practice with making sure everyone's attended to, and it's too much. There's a difference between adding value and going the extra mile to overdoing it, right? Maybe it's overgiving in terms of not really sticking to your boundaries because you say to yourself, well, there wasn't any time to wrap it up. It would be unfair to wrap it up. It's mean to wrap it up. Well, I don't have anything after this session anyway. So it wouldn't be the right thing to do to just wrap it up. It's over giving your time. It's over giving in terms of your availability, There are some counsellors in private practice that, respond to quite lengthy emails and get into email correspondence in between sessions with clients, and it bites into their personal time. They take it home and they worry about, this email correspondence going back and forward, or they get caught on the phone to relatives or partners or loved ones or employers of clients that they're seeing, and they want to get off the phone. This can happen when clients are working with guardians, for example, instead of the actual client. And so there's overgiving there. There's overgiving for counsellors in private practice that do inquiry calls, but they don't know how to do them because they've never learned, and maybe they don't really want to learn. They think that they know what they're doing, but actually they're giving away free counselling sessions. It's overgiving, and then people aren't booking in with them. So I'm not sure if this is making sense for you yet, but hopefully it is. Another aspect of the shadow is that we're not looking after our own needs. We're neglecting our needs. And what this can look like for us in private practice is, working through your lunch instead of giving yourself that full hour and closing the laptop and getting out of your brick and mortar building and going for a walk, or logging off Halaxy or Power Diary or, Simple Practice or whatever you're using, and going onto YouTube and watching something else instead, or listening to some music or doing a meditation. Neglecting yourself by getting into the business really early and staying really late. Neglecting yourself by not being present with loved ones, because you're allowing business and therapy and client stories to be playing on your mind. you kind of lose yourself in private practice. And this can happen when you work in isolation as well. And it can feel sometimes like, I don't know if you've ever considered this, but who are you without your private practice? Like if somebody just came along today and said, right, that's it, when we're not having private practices anymore, they're outlawed, no one on the planet can have a private practice anymore. Like, what's your identity then? So this is part of the shadow mother archetype. It's having like so much of your identity wrapped up in the business and wrapped up in who you are. And the other shadow side of this is, mother archetype is really about that beautiful, empowering parenting approach, right? The ideal parenting approach. But a shadow parenting approach is, the reverse of that. And now we've got helicopter parenting, so to speak. So that can be micromanaging your admin team, micromanaging the contractors that work for you, micromanaging your staff, constantly hitting their inbox with emails about new changes, new policies, new this, new that, demands, increasing KPI requirements. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, not letting them have the space to make mistakes, not letting them have the space to flourish, not letting them have the space to fall over and scrape their knee. You're like busy putting down all soft padding everywhere so that nothing ever happens to them. But what happens as a result of that is they don't learn resilience and they miss out on, strengthening their own practice foundations. So this, and the other thing too, while I think about it, is the other thing about a helicopter parent when we're thinking about the mother archetype is that it can create a sense of dependence because you're not giving your team, whether it's psychologists or social workers that work for you or your counselors or whoever it is, you're not giving them chances to shine their own light. You're not giving them chances to create their own identity. You're not giving them chances to be seen, to explore, to expand for themselves, and to develop their own practice independence, to develop their own practice styles, because you're suffocating them, right? And what's happening is now we've gone the other way and we've created dependency where you will know if this has happened because you'll get people coming to you asking you all the time, should I do this now? Should I do that now? What's my next step here? What do I do next? How do I handle this? They're going to be coming to you all the time asking for questions. And there's going to be part of you that loves that. But there's also going to be a different side of you that says, oh my gosh, I can't get anything done because everyone's bothering me all the time. How come they don't know what they're doing? Da, 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 da. You see what I mean? And then you fall into that shadow mother archetype energy of being a martyr. And that's probably not the space that you want to be growing and developing your private practice from. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So I don't know if you've been able to relate to, the sacred or the divine mother archetype. Hopefully you've been able to identify with some aspects of that. But I want to invite you to see, are you embodying any of those shadow side aspects of the mother archetype? Anyway, if you are interested, there are some ways that you can embody the sacred and divine, like the really healthy, light version of the mother archetype. And I'm going to share those with you now. So if you want to get your pen and your podcast journal, hit pause, go and do that, and then come back. I'm just going to keep talking on here. So how to embody it is to, first of all, don't be afraid to really follow what is true for you. Don't be afraid to receive intuitive nudges and receive divine inspiration and follow it. All right, that's the first thing. Are you following your intuition? The second thing is don't be afraid to attend to your own needs first, okay? All mums need to look after themselves first, I think you'll agree, so that they can continue to show up and help their children, right? in the traditional sense I'm talking here. You want to be able to attune to independence. Okay, so what I'm asking you to do here is be reflective and think, if you do have a client, are you attuning your client to independence of therapy, or are you tuning them to dependence of therapy? And explore for yourself what a dependent relationship might look like in counseling with you, and what an independent client relationship might look like. Are you empowering your clients to think for themselves and do things for themselves, or not? And what would you like to do about that? What would your next action be based on that reflection? It's okay for you to spend time doing things with nature. Now, I know this sounds like, what's this got to do with private practice? But you'll see over the last couple of years, there's been such an increase in people wanting to spend time in nature, therapists wanting to spend time in nature. One of the big areas of growth, one of the big niches, popular niches, a trending niche is, being out in nature. We've seen so many practices emerge into the walk and talk space. And I think that's indicative of this beautiful mother archetype that's wanting to, connect with nature, be aware of rhythms, be aware of cycles, be aware of seasons, be aware of the elements, and tap into those and tap into the energy of those to support clients. And even that feminine energy of moving, movement that you get with walking. For example, just giving you an example there. And lastly, it's so important that you allow yourself space as a practitioner to heal your own wounds, to heal your own wounds. Okay, because you want to be able to end a cycle for yourself. Yep. Your wounds, whether you're aware of it or not, can absolutely influence how you show up as a supervisor, a mentor, a coach if you're coaching, a health practitioner, Reiki master. All of that sort of stuff's influenced by not only what you've healed, but also what's left to be healed. And so this podcast episode is an invitation for you to sit with the idea, to sit with the concept of the mother archetype, to sit with the concept of the light and the shadow, to unpack for yourself in your own time, in your own space, in your own way, what's showing up, what you would like to see more of, what you're willing to release and let go of, so that you can create a private practice experience for yourself, for your team, and for your clients that resonates with your values, that resonates with what's true and meaningful and valuable to you. Okay? So, what an episode, right? Oh my gosh, I love this stuff so much. I love it. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that we talk about in the private practice inner circle. We've got a training coming up next week. I'm so excited to share it with the ladies there. There's only ladies in the group at the moment, so that's what I'm saying, ladies. Everyone's invited. But and the other thing that I'm so excited to share with you is, I'm not sure if I mentioned that I opened an Etsy store. So I think I said on a recent podcast that I was going to, that I drew that Three of Pentacles card, and it was the collaboration of the three women. And one of the women, was saying to me, hey, you should start an Etsy store. Well, I've done it. And I'm so excited because I've made my first 2 sales. Well, actually, I sold 6 things and I've made $76 or $77. So I'm really excited that it's starting to take off. I mean, I think there's only 15 things available in the store at the moment. So it's a very baby store. It's a new store. It's just been birthed. But I am loving it because it's giving me something to do with like my feminine energy, because I love creating things. Plus, it's just so much fun to think that I've created a model of business where, in terms of revenue pathways, I have quite a few different streams now. So there's a pathway of income that comes in, or turnover that comes in sort of day to day. And then there's a income stream or revenue stream for recurring income, which is so exciting. And I love recurring income because it just gives you so much freedom as a private practice owner. I think more of us should do it. And that's something that I teach in Clients on Demand, like just the power of creating a recurring revenue stream for yourself, for your practice. And now passive income. And I honestly, I never used to believe in passive because everything takes work. That's what I used to tell myself. But here's what I know to be true now. It does take work to set up an Etsy shop, right? Now, it probably only took me, honest to goodness, it probably only took me about half an hour to actually set the shop up. But creating the content and doing all of that does take a little bit of time. Like, it's probably taken me about 20 minutes to half an hour to create each product, right from concept to creating it to getting it done to making all of the little graphics and icons and videos and descriptions and titles and, blah, 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 all this codes you've got to have for your shop stock and all of this. It probably takes roughly, give or take, depending on what I'm making, about half an hour-ish from beginning to end. But here's the thing, like, once I've put them up, I never have to do anything to them again. And the products that sold in the last 2 weeks, so I had one sale this week where someone bought 5 things. So she went into my shop and she was like, I'll take that. And then she looked at everything else. She's like, I'll have one of that, one of that, one of that, one of that. And she got one of everything. And the week before, somebody bought 1 thing. So I don't have to worry about ever doing anything with this stuff ever again. All I have to do, I'm just telling you how I'm seeing it as passive. All that's required from me moving forward is just to renew my listings I think you have a listing. I'm not sure. I'm still new, right? But I think I have a listing it lasts for 3 or 4 months. Anyway, I just set it to auto renew. So I really don't have to do anything. It's all there. And I've automated the whole store. So I woke up, it was yesterday. Yeah, I woke up yesterday and I'd made this like $75 of sales while I was asleep. And I'm not even joking, like, this person bought them, like, you can see the timestamps and everything. She bought them, I think it was like 2:30 a.m. So I'm assuming this client, this purchaser customer must have been overseas in another country because of time difference, or she was up late stressing over her private practice and came across my store, and now hopefully she's been able to go to sleep knowing she's got all the things that she needs. But yeah, so there's now the day-to-day income, there's recurring monthly revenue, and there's now passive income. And I'm so, so, so excited. The next thing that I'll be setting up, I'm not going to do it until next year, but because I know somebody's going to say, what else are you doing? So I'll just give you the heads up. The other thing that I'm going to do is next year I'm going to set up affiliate income. That's a whole other thing, and I could probably do a podcast on that, but it's something that I'm working on in the background at the moment, but probably won't introduce it to the business until, I don't know, early to mid next year. I just really want to focus on getting the passive income up and running first, because if I can set a goal of, selling, like, all my products are under $10, right? But if I had a goal of selling, $250 of products a week, that's going to bring me an extra $12,000 of passive income a year, which is kind of nice, right? That's another holiday or 2. That's another couple of weeks off for me for not doing any work. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because some people ask, what are you doing in your business now? Like, where are things at now? I wasn't doing any of this when I was a psychologist. This has all come to me in the last 24 months. Absolutely 24 months. It's only 9 days past the 2-year mark. And leaving psychology for me was the best decision I made for myself. It's, there are people that approach me every day and say, what's it been like? I'm thinking of leaving too. But I'm nervous and things like that. And I just want you to know that you can build a Medicare-free private practice that does give you 6 figures. I mean, I only work with, I have availability for 8 one-to-one clients a week now. So I've totally reduced my availability. And Mondays are my group calls for my programs. And I do usually 2 or 3 of those. So yeah, I don't spend that much time in the direct client work. I spend most of my time creating, and that's my happy place. I just love it so much. And I can't believe that I get to do this. And the other thing too is I have been so lucky to be doing more and more readings for counsellors and therapists and private practice owners lately. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm very much into tarot and oracle, and I do readings for private practice owners and therapists who experience challenges in their business, like they have imposter syndrome, or they're worried about being on social media, or they're feeling, I don't like this word at all, and everybody who knows me knows this, but they're feeling like overtired, or I was going to say overwhelmed, right? They're feeling confused. They don't know what's the next step. They don't know why something's not working for them in their business. And they come to me, and I give them a reading, and the reading includes, guidance for them. And it's just been so lovely. I'm doing a whole bunch of them at the moment and getting some really, really, really beautiful feedback. Let me just share one with you because it was so nice. Hang on. One lady said to me, "Oh my gosh, firstly, thank you. Secondly, oh my gosh, I've only listened to the first 3 minutes, Brooklyn, and it is like spot on. I just spoke to my psych about this. I'm an Aries. I'm off to listen to more. Holy heck, super excited, super freaked out." Yeah, and then someone else said the whole thing was perfect and completely resonated. I'm going to have a bath tonight, do some meditation and journaling. I'm not sure what to tell you or if you even want to hear it, but I just had to tell you that it's so accurate. Thank you so much for my reading and for your time. I really appreciate it. And then there was another one that I just want to share with you here. It was so much fun. Where is it? So there was this one. I had my first ever private practice tarot reading, and I'm so grateful that I did. I was a little skeptical at first because I wasn't sure how mixing spirituality with my practice was going to work, but the reading was so much more than Brooklyn reading cards. It was really useful and insightful, and included a little bit of coaching as well. I felt like I had the best of both worlds, and I'll definitely be utilizing this service again. Thank you, Brooklyn. And that was just so nice. And then somebody else said, recently I was fortunate enough to have Brooklyn do a tarot reading for me around a question that I had regarding the development of my private counseling practice. As part of the reading, Brooklyn mentioned I should discard anything that did not resonate with me. Well, I must say everything she told me resonated. Her reading was spot on. The cards identified my strengths as well as the parts of me that I might think about differently. Brooklyn delivered the reading in such a kind and loving way. The reading really served me by confirming and reinforcing some of what I knew to be my strengths, and it provided me with some helpful strategies to lessen the impact of the parts of business that for me seem less appealing. The whole experience lifted my spirits in the most amazing and surprising way, and it really enabled me to reframe some of my less helpful thoughts, effectively boosting my confidence in the belief that my practice is going to be successful. I highly recommend that counsellors going into private practice utilize this fabulous resource that Brooklyn offers to clients. So it's just been like, since everything happened with that Lionsgate portal on the 7th and being able to release all of that stuff that I didn't even know was there, having this new light code activation, doing the rebrand, I just feel more in the zone than I ever have before. And I just wanted to share that with you because I love to share the journey. And I know the journey looks different for everyone, but I know there are people who are curious about the journey and want to know how long does it take to create this or do that in your business. And I want you to know everyone's journey is going to be different, but I want you to start to focus on what's possible for you, okay? And I just think you can do absolutely anything if you allow yourself to receive. But anyway, I will let you go. I've used up enough of your time today. Thank you so much for spending more of your Saturday with me. I really appreciate you very, 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 very much. If you want to join the Success Hub, I want you to know that I've popped some more templates in there for you as well to help you with your private practice. So you can come in and binge on all of those. It's $7 to come and join. I hope to see you inside. Have a lovely day, everyone. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is @theprivatepracticecoach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.